In Acts chapter 1, verses 3 to 5, we see God's plan to use ordinary people like us for His extraordinary work. Despite our excuses, God equips us, and Jesus' resurrection proves His power. Let's explore this truth.
Now, God has ordained that His work should be accomplished through human instruments. I do not say that it must be accomplished. God can use angelic beings for His work, and there will come a time during the book of Revelation when God will use angels to proclaim His gospel to people all over the world. Revelation chapter 14, the first angel flying through the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel. But at the present time, God has chosen to use human instruments. As imperfect as they may be, yet that's what God has ordained to use. And the exciting thing about that is that God will use me, and God will use you. So many times we're begging off. Oh Lord, I can't speak. I've never been able to speak before, or even now, Lord. As Moses tried to beg off of the call of God. Jeremiah said, Lord, I'm just a kid. No one's going to listen to me. And we all have our excuses why we can't be used, don't we? We all know the reasons why God couldn't use us. One time as the Lord was calling a prophet to do His work, he said, Lord, send whoever you want. The Lord said, hey, I've called you. Lord, good idea. Send whoever you want. And so often we're in that position. Lord, send by the hand of whomsoever you will. Anybody but me, Lord. And yet, God has ordained to use us. Now, each of us can show our own imperfections. Each of us can point out our own inabilities. And all of us can find an excuse why God wouldn't want to use me, but yet God has chosen to use you. That through your life, He might reveal Himself to a needy world. You wonder when God has such instruments to use how He ever got the job done, don't you? Until the day in which He was taken up, after that He, through the Holy Spirit, had given commandments to the apostles whom He had chosen. So that is what He ended the Gospel of Luke with, the day that Jesus was taken up after He had told the apostles to wait for the endowment of power. To whom He also, that is the apostles, He also showed Himself alive to them after His passion or death by many infallible proofs. It is difficult to deny the fact of the resurrection of Jesus Christ. I was amused as well as annoyed and irritated by an article I read in the Santa Ana Register this last Saturday of the creation science and evolutionary theories being presented in the county schools. How that this one professor said that he teaches a science class, and thus they deal only in facts and they don't have any place for theories, because science is based upon fact and creation is based upon religious superstitions. And it takes a lot of faith to believe the religious theories, where when you are dealing with facts, you can just accept them. And I thought, very interesting. In science class, they taught me it was a fact that the world was 4 billion years old. And now, today, they are teaching it's a fact that the world is 12 billion years old. And it wasn't that long ago that I went to school. It is interesting to me that the Bible has never needed to be revised and updated to meet the current data that men have discovered. And yet, if you would take my high school science textbooks today and try to teach a science class from them, you would find that many of the things that were taught as scientific fact when I was in high school are no longer recognized as scientific fact. The simple cell protoplasm is no longer a simple cell, but extremely complex. So, if there is any fact that can be attested to in history, it is the fact of the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead. We have a jurisprudence system that is based upon the testimony of witnesses. And if a man is accused of a crime, and there are people who witnessed that crime while it was being committed, and they are brought to the stand, and they swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help them God. And in their questioning, they're being questioned, they affirm that I saw that man in the bank on May the 23rd. I saw him pull out a gun from his coat. I heard him demand that all of the money be given to him. I saw him as he left the bank. I saw him as the officer apprehended him outside. And if you can get 3 or 4 witnesses to point to that man and will keep their testimony under cross-examination, that man is adjudged to be guilty. He is the one that did it. We have 2 or 3 witnesses that are testifying the same story about that man, and he is then accepted as fact that he is the one who perpetrated the crime and is guilty. You've got witnesses who have sworn to tell the truth, that are verifying. Now, after the death of Jesus, when he rose again, he appeared unto many different people who gave sworn testimony that they saw him, that they talked to him, that he appeared to them in various places, under different circumstances, and for a period of 40 days was visiting with them, and at one time up to as many as 500 people who were gathered at one place he appeared. Now, it's difficult to just cast aside or deny the witness of these people. To do so is to discredit our whole jurisprudence system. But not only that, these men who testified that they saw the risen Lord, that they talked with him, that they ate with him, they all of them, with the exception of one, met violent deaths at the hands of other people because of their affirming that the story they told was true. Now, you talk about a witness sworn to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. If a person's life was threatened because of that witness, and it was a lie, at least one of them would have broken under the pressure and would have confessed to the entire hoax. He showed himself alive after his passion by many infallible proofs.
As you heard, Jesus showed himself alive for 40 days, leaving no doubt of his victory over death. In our next study, we'll hear his final instructions to the disciples before he ascends.